You know that feeling, right? When your mind just feels tangled, like you're staring at something complex, and clear thinking just seems completely out of reach.
Oh, absolutely. It's incredibly frustrating. We all think we know how to think, but really focusing on, clear, critical reasoning, that's different.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into just that. We've got some great material, like an article from EU Business School on how to think clearly, and we'll also explore what incisive thinking really means.
Yeah, looking at dictionary definitions and even the word's origin.
Our mission, really, is to unpack what clear, incisive thinking actually involves, why it's so valuable, and then give you 7 practical ways to build this skill.
Think of it as sharpening your mental toolkit. A bit of shortcut, maybe?
Okay, so let's start with the basics. This EU Business School article talks about clear thinking. What's their take?
Well, they frame it not as one single thing, but more like a collection of related skills.
Okay, like what kind of skills?
Things like articulating ideas clearly so others get it, working through problems logically, step by step,
Makes sense.
drawing valid conclusions, and also noticing and, accounting for the small details, little things that matter.
So it's quite broad then.
It is. Fundamentally, they say it's about understanding what conditions help you be lucid, aware, concentrated, and then applying logic and reason.
Right, to actual thought-based tasks.
Exactly. Building a solid argument is part of it, definitely. But also, and this is important, developing consistent habits that actually support that clear mental state.
Habits. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, you mentioned incisive. That word often comes up with clear thinking. What does that specifically mean?
Yeah, it's a great word. If you look at dictionary.com, they define it as like penetrating, cutting, biting, trenchant.
Strong words. Cutting.
Yeah, and they give an example like an incisive method of summarizing the issue. Merriam-Webster adds it's impressively direct and decisive.
Like an incisive analysis?
Exactly, or an incisive writer. And another source, Better Words, puts it really nicely. Expressing difficult ideas in a clear, direct, and confident manner.
Or someone who can just cut through the mess.
Precisely. Cut through confusion or complexity, get to the heart of it quickly.
Now, this is where I found it got really interesting, the origin of the word.
Oh yeah, the etymology is fascinating. All the sources point back to Latin.
Cadere or incidere, meaning to cut or to carve.
Exactly. That literal meaning, cutting something physically, it evolved metaphorically. So incisive thinking is like using a sharp tool to cut through complex ideas, to dissect them.
Like carving away the non-essential stuff.
You got it. And you see that root in other words too, like scissors, chisel.
Even incisor teeth for cutting.
Right. And precise, concise, they all share that linguistic DNA of cutting, of sharpness.
So it's not just being smart, it's being sharp, direct, able to slice through the noise.
That's a perfect way to put it.
So, okay, we understand what these are now, but why should someone listening focus on developing these skills? What's the real value for you?
Well, the value is pretty undeniable, isn't it? Both personally and professionally. The EU Business School source really highlights this.
How so?
Think about it. Dealing with, say, a tricky corporate client. You need to quickly grasp their real issues, cut through the polite talk maybe.
Yeah, get to the core objection.
Or even navigating a difficult conversation in a relationship. Being clear and incisive helps you understand the real dynamic.
Yeah, in business generally, I guess it's a huge advantage.
Absolutely. In any complex, competitive field, being able to distill information, understand it deeply, and then act effectively, that sets you apart. It's about getting to the truth of the matter.
Okay, great. So now we know what it is and why it matters. Let's get practical. How do we actually develop this clear, incisive thinking? Tip number 1 is about mindfulness.
Right. Mindfulness is powerful here because it helps create a sort of distance between you and your thoughts.
Distance, how does that help?
It lets you evaluate them more impartially, less emotionally. You can observe your thoughts without getting immediately swept away by them.
So you can spot the flaws, maybe. Or biases.
Exactly. You're more likely to notice shaky logic or assumptions you're making. It helps you, cut through your own mental clutter.
Makes sense. Any practical tips on that?
The source suggests setting little mindfulness reminders during the day, even just a minute or two. Lots of apps can help with that too.
Okay, mindfulness inside. What about outside? Tip 2 is eliminating distractions. Seems obvious, but...
It's huge. If your attention is constantly fragmented, checking your phone, glancing at news alerts, email pop-ups, that deep, focused reasoning required for incisive thought, it becomes well, pretty much impossible.
Your brain just can't settle enough to cut deep, right?
Precisely. Every switch costs mental energy. Short-term fixes help, like tidying your desk, maybe a social media break.
Digital detox for an afternoon.
Yeah, but the real gains come from long-term habits, like maybe no social media during work hours, or leaving your phone outside your office space, blocking distracting websites.
Designing your environment for focus.
Exactly, carving out that mental space.
Okay, number 3 might seem a bit indirect. Fuel your brain. We're talking about food here.
Yes, and it's more direct than you might think. What you eat really impacts your mental sharpness.
How so? Like avoiding sugar crashes.
That's a big part of it. Refined carbs, lots of added sugar, they cause those spikes and dips in blood sugar. That leads to brain fog, which kills concentration and problem-solving ability.
So what should we eat for clearer thinking?
Foods rich in antioxidants, healthy fats. Think berries, leafy greens, nuts, seeds. Even good quality dark chocolate can help. They support stable energy and cognitive function.
And nutrients, too.
Definitely. Getting enough B12, iron, zinc, they're directly involved in brain health, making sure your brain has the raw materials it needs to be sharp.
Interesting. Okay, tip 4 takes us back inside our heads. Start a daily meditation practice. You mentioned mindfulness. How is this different?
While related, the core benefit highlighted here is relaxation. Stress is a major enemy of clear thinking.
Yeah, when you're stressed, your thoughts just race, right?
Yeah.
Catastrophizing.
Exactly. And that is just not conducive to thinking incisively or effectively. Meditation, even just 10 minutes a day consistently, can really help calm your nervous system.
Lower cortisol, that sort of thing.
Precisely. Over time, it helps rewire your brain to be less reactive, more calm and focused, so you can approach problems with a clearer, more objective mind, sharpening the internal blade, you could say.
And again, apps like Headspace can make it easy to start.
They really can.
Number 5 brings us back to the physical environment again. Organize your workspace. The old tidy room, tidy mind. Is there science behind that?
There really is. Research actually backs this up quite strongly. Organized spaces reduce distracting visual clutter.
Less stuff pulling your attention away.
Right. It boosts concentration and fosters a sense of calm. Both are vital for focused, incisive thought. There's even research linking less clutter to better academic performance.
Huh. So the whole Marie Kondo thing wasn't just about tidiness.
Well, it taps into a real psychological benefit. Order outside helps create order inside, freeing up mental energy to, really dissect those complex ideas.
Okay, number 6.
Yeah.
Take regular breaks, preferably outdoors. This feels counterintuitive in a culture that prizes constant work.
It does, but it's crucial. Our brains aren't built for nonstop focus. Thinking clearly, especially incisively, is draining.
You hit a wall eventually.
Absolutely. Breaks replenish those mental resources. They fight decision fatigue, restore focus and motivation. Pushing through without breaks often just leads to less incisive thinking, not more.
And why outdoors specifically?
There's a lot of research on that, too. Being in nature, even a short walk in a park, is linked to reduced stress, better mood, higher self-esteem. It refreshes the mind in a different way.
Allows for that kind of background processing, maybe.
Exactly. Sometimes the best insights, those really incisive ones, come when you step away and let your mind wander a bit.
All right, final tip, number 7. Don't underestimate the importance of sleep.
This might be the most fundamental one. That old idea of, I'll sleep when I'm dead, or pulling all-nighters for better work, it's just wrong.
Doesn't actually lead to better quality thinking.
Not at all. Good sleep is directly, irrefutably linked to mental clarity, good judgment, problem solving, basically everything we've been talking about.
What's happening when we sleep that's so important?
Your brain is incredibly active. It's clearing out metabolic waste products built up during the day, consolidating memories, forging new neural connections during REM sleep. It's literally processing information and strengthening the pathways needed for efficient, sharp thought.
So how much sleep are we talking?
The general recommendation, the sweet spot for most adults, is 7 to 8 hours per night. Quality sleep.
Any quick tips for getting that quality sleep?
A key one is managing light exposure, especially blue light from screens before bed. Try removing artificial light sources from your bedroom if you struggle to drift off. It helps your body produce melatonin naturally.
Okay, that's a fantastic set of practical tips. So wrapping this up, the main takeaway seems to be that clear, incisive thinking isn't some magic gift.
Not at all. It's a skill, a vital life skill, really. Like a muscle you can build with deliberate practice and the right habits.
And developing it gives you a real edge, doesn't it? helping you cut through the complexity in almost any situation.
Definitely. Whether it's personal stuff or professional challenges, it lets you get right to the heart of the matter.
So the final thought for you, listening right now, what does this all mean for you? Think about a time recently when maybe clear thinking felt impossible.
Yeah, maybe you were struggling to explain something or really grasp a complex problem. How could using just one or two of these tips, maybe focusing on mindfulness or just prioritizing sleep, help you tackle that differently next time?
What's that complex idea or problem in your life that you're now ready to really cut through with a sharper mental toolkit?